testing you fail. See how long that you can say the truth that you fail. I don't think you even recognize the loss of control. I don't think you even see it in yourself. Every one of us is counting dice and we didn't roll. And the loser is the last to ask for help. Be afraid, be very afraid. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. The stage belongs to you and you feel like a star. You can bark and snap like a dog at the man who just tuned your guitar. I don't think you even recognize the kid in the wings, and I don't think you even see her in yourself. She looks to you for what to do with all the devil dreams. You're too terrified to be of any help. Be afraid, be very afraid. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Be afraid, very afraid. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. We don't take requests, we won't shut up and sing. Tell the truth, not give money to everything. We've been testing you, fail. See how long that you can hold it in before you scream, but you only exhale. I don't think you even recognize the sound of your voice when it's blasting through the speakers in the sky. If your words add up to nothing, then you're making a choice to see it coming with you beat a battle cry. Be afraid, be very afraid. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Be afraid, be very afraid. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Be afraid, be very afraid. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. elevated eyes just to see what I can find. Staring in the shadows where the light don't do sound. I'm one-way conversation with the darkness in my mind. He does all the talking, knows I'm quiet. Oh, now, let's see. Sitting on the trail out and walking on the run. There's nothing left around the top just for fun. Still quiet, keeping cold till I find one. Filled with one so sweet, with the sun. Oh, now, let's see. Welcome to episode 1 of Uncouth and Unkempt, the Prime Bro Show, here on Prime Yacht Media. While I was setting this up, I noticed on the Twitch page here that it's saying, and this is not an accurate statement, that I have a subscription goal of 10. I did not add this. I would rather no one subscribe to this channel if that's possible. I also don't have a sub goal. I don't want this channel to be like that. That's not what this channel is about. That's not a route of monetization that's being pursued. As you'll see over the coming months, Prime Yacht Media is about a lot more than this channel. But Uncouth and Unkempt, those are some words that are for those who know, you know. But in a letter that was once written, those were the only two accurate things that were said about me. And I actually liked those words quite a bit. And for a while, I had an association that precluded me from really making use of them to the degree that I would have preferred to rather. But now I can, because I can do whatever the fuck I want. And you know, there's something remarkably fucking liberating about that, I have to tell you. But yeah, no, we're here tonight. We have a show. There's no programming. We have giveaways. We're going to make NFTs, !yacht and your Waxwell ID if you want to get in there to swim there to win there, as our good friend Left House would say. And in that respect, why don't we give a shout out to Left House? I don't even know what the fuck he's called right now because he changes his username so much, but I think it's Left House TV. It is not. Is it Left House? Hopefully that's the right Left House. Well, if you're not following that Left House, is it the right Left House? Let's go fucking see. But you can indeed get in there to swim there to win there. And that is not the right Left House at all. Well, I have a few things planned tonight. I need to buy coffee beans for one. In the second instance, we're going to make some NFTs. We're going to talk politics, Israel and Gaza, nothing less controversial than that. And I am going to give an academic lecture on Carl Schmitt's concept of exceptionality in relation to the rule of law and as it applies to the moderation of online communities. Because that's something that I feel quite strongly about today. And this is just going to be an abstract lecture. I'm not gonna spill any tea. I'm just going to talk about theory and how theory works, how the theory of law norms. And you know what? The interesting thing about this is I'm uber qualified to do this because I used to teach this at university. I'm literally an expert at this. There are very few things at which I can claim expertise, but this is actually one of them. And I've dealt with some unprofessional behavior today, and I'm not very pleased by it. And you know what? Let's handle it academically. Let's look at theory, let's look at jurisprudence, and let's look at how the literature applies it to moderation in online communities. Because what the fuck could go wrong? Who doesn't want to hear an academic lecture, right? That's what y'all are here for. But yeah, guys, we do have that grubfish, exclamation mark, yacht, and your wax wall ID if you want to get in there to win there, to swim there, as Left House would say. But shout out to Jason Isbell in the 400 unit and to Sturgill Simpson and his amazing band coming on in. Remember to Breathe, track 2 on Sound and the Fury. Sturgill Simpson's concept album from 2019. I go out late at night just to see what I can find. Stay in the shadows where the sun don't ever shine. Having one-way conversations with darkness in my mind. He does all the talking because I'm the quiet kind. So peel it off, pull him down, let me see it turn around. Just lay it back, let it happen, and remember to breathe. And I don't know if he's referring to sexual intercourse or something else here, but I think that's an amazing lyric. But the best lyric in this song is right here. Staying off the radar like a bomber on the run. Do another lap around the target just for fun. Staying quiet, keeping calm until I find the one. Feel the wave wash over me when the deed is done. Now, the rhyming is primitive, but god damn, that's a good fucking piece of imagery. And that's going to go in our stream pack tonight. So let's start getting that NFT. I want to make an NFT about that. In the online in, because I posted I was going live in the online in. But we're going to make an NFT pack that we're just going to mint live on fucking stream. And maybe we'll sell it, maybe we won't. We'll just put everything in a pack, and I want to make one for the bomber on the run, and then we're do other things. But yeah, this is probably going to be highly disorganized. But the one thing I can assure you guys, and this is a promise, is that I am completely sober. Seldom do I drink. When I do, I get fucking wasted. But seldom do I drink. I'm not a teetotaler. Or anything of the sort. It's just I work a lot, and alcohol interferes with work. On the other hand, caffeine and nicotine empower work. I mean, some would say they don't, but let's see what kind of output we get for this prompt. We're going to call this episode 1 pack, Uncouth and Unkempt. That's what we're going to fucking call it. Let's get this noted over here. Uncouth and Unkempt, episode 1 stream pack. Let's make one of these every stream and give them to everyone who shows up. Oh man, I like this one. It's not what I was going for, but the imagery we're getting here is absolutely fucking lovely. That is a cool shot. Let's run some variations on that. I don't know what I like about it. It's like the symmetry. Some weird fucking plane. That thing, I don't know if that would fly, but yeah. Let's get it. Massive variation on there too. Oh, okay, here again, some planes that can actually fly, that are, aerodynamic. You know one thing I'm not an expert on? Planes. You know what I am an expert on? Whoa. Who would have fucking thunk it? But yeah, let's do this thing. Oh fuck, number 1 is sweet. Let's see this baby. Let's see it. I think this might be the one. Lay back, let it happen, and remember to breathe, yo.
Let's see. Yeah, I think that. Oh, although, Chad, if you have any thoughts, just feel free to let me know. But no, kind of has a Soviet aesthetic to it that I like. It kind of looks like a guitar in the background, which is pretty fucking sweet. Let's go with this fucker here. So let's call this one here slot 1. Great. Computer freezing, just how we fucking want. Let's get some tunes on in here in the background. But yeah, why don't we get started by talking about something uncontroversial while I'm making these NFTs, and we'll make an NFT about this too, because why the fuck not? This is like making NFTs and just shooting the shit and getting academic, and there's gonna be some wild fucking academic theory tonight, guys. I can tell you that much. But Israel and Palestine, right? A simple state of affairs. Not at all a controversial topic. Now, it's actually a very nuanced issue because the creation of Israel via the Balfour Declaration, after the UN mandate to Britain expired, took land from the people of Palestine, who were theoretically mostly Jordanians. If we put this in a broader socio-political and economic context, what we're going to see is that we have multiple groups that are making claims to land on the basis of ancient religious texts and superstition. In other words, the justification as to why the Israelis, who are the Jews, the Palestinians, who are the Arabs, as they say, should have this land is premised on the notion of myth to a certain extent, because a lot of this goes back to holy texts. About we were living there and Moses parted this and Moses did that. The degree to which this is actually realistic is problematic. So when we're dealing with an issue like this, where there is no objective reality, and believe me, we're going to talk about objective reality later, but we're dealing with a situation here in which there was no objective reality at the time. This is myth, this is superstition, this is oral history, etc. That leads to what we in the business call intractable conflict. And the reason a conflict like this tends to be intractable, intractable means, for those of you who might not know the word, not germane to resolution through rational means, is because the reasons by which people are making claims to this territory, in this case, are themselves not rational claims. But there is one fact here that is correct. At the time when the state of Israel was created, Palestinians were occupying this land, not as a sovereign state, but under a British mandate. Israel was an artificial creation that was superimposed upon this land, and which led to the division of the territory which was occupied. Now you hear, Hamas today chant, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Well, it used to run from the river to the fucking sea. Now, no one is questioning the fact that there should probably be a Jewish state somewhere. At the very same time, however, we are talking about a situation in which one group's land was stolen to make place for another. Stolen might not be the right word, but appropriated, shall we say. And when you think of the attachment that people have to land, do you think that if someone decided to carve off part of Oregon today and give it to, I don't know, Russia, that would go over very well with the people of Oregon who weren't of Russian descent? I think not. So when we think of the Nakba of 1948, which is when the Israeli government the early Israeli government purposely displaced Palestinians as a matter of policy because it saw them as a threat to the state's existence. This forced displacement, which occurred during this period, was a variety which has had a form of intergenerational trauma for the Palestinian people. Now let's take a big jump and go to today, right? And we have the attacks of October the 7th, and there's nothing to justify that. There is everything to justify Palestinians resisting and protesting for a free state, but Hamas does not speak for ordinary Palestinians. It does not. It was elected, but in 2005, if I remember correctly? And mind you, that wasn't exactly a free and fair election. Hamas can be pretty scary. But what I want to look about is I want to look at the event and I want to look at the response. So we have this horrific attack that Hamas conducts and kills about 1,400 Israelis and dual nationals, if I'm not mistaken. Now we have Israel, with one of the more powerful and modern militaries in the world, going into Gaza full steam, and literally leveling the place. We're talking about roof knocks. A roof knock, if you don't know, is when they bomb a high-rise building. Often first, they'll call everybody inside, if they can, and drop a non-explosive piece of ordnance or a plane on the roof, literally to knock on it, to try to get the civilians evacuated. Although that's, I don't feel like that's their primary concern. But as of right now, the Israeli incursion into the Strip has caused, if I'm not mistaken, we're at 14,000 dead Palestinians. One thing you need to know is that the composition of the Gaza Strip is 50% under age 18. Yes, 50% of Gazans are under age 18. Now, remember when I talked about intergenerational trauma before? Intergenerational trauma is kind of used to refer to the notion that the trauma that's physically and personally experienced by one generation is transmitted through memory, through history to subsequent generations, and it creates a desire to alleviate the trauma. And there's a very strong argument to be made, and a cohesive one, I believe, that this explains why Palestinian resistance has taken on the form that it has. In the same way that the Jewish desire to occupy this territory in the first place was based on this unfalsifiable Old Testament logic regarding who this land belonged to. But we find ourselves in this kind of crazy position now where I'm going to make my argument is that the Israeli response to the attacks of October 7th are going to create a forever war. I'm not trying to be sensationalistic. Remember, I had previously discussed that we were dealing with an intractable conflict, right? That's a conflict for which there really is no legit solution, okay? In this case, we're dealing with a situation in which two groups of people, both who have been victimized by intergenerational trauma, are claiming the same land. The trauma of Israel is obviously related to the Holocaust. The trauma of the Palestinians is related to the Nakba and having their land stolen. Now, Hamas, Hezbollah in the north, Islamic Jihad, and the other groups that operate there are all motivated to one extent or another to destroy Israel. Never going to happen. That would be wrong. But let's just leave that there for a second. So we have to understand the process of radicalization that leads these youth to join these extremist terrorist organizations as one that's predicated on on intergenerational trauma in the same way that we absolutely have to understand the the manner by which Israelis are clinging to this state, even though it may not really be theirs in a way because of the trauma of the Holocaust. So we have two peoples claiming the same territory, victimized by very similar patterns of oppression, who are have been fighting for what 32 52 75 years. Wow, it's the 75th anniversary of the Nakba. Jesus fucking Christ, what a way to celebrate, eh? On the way to fucking World War II. That's but I digress completely. Guys, if you do want to get in, we have a grubfish going. I'm going to give the stream pack to everyone who hangs out. You don't have to be here when you get it, but you can hit !yacht on your watch while I do get in. But when I talk about a forever war, remember, this first generation of Palestinian freedom fighters, terrorists for others, were inspired by the Nakba. This new generation of Palestinian freedom fighters, terrorists, whatever you want them to be, whatever you call them, are going to be inspired exactly by what Israel is doing in the Strip right now. And the core reason for that is associated with something in international law. And let's see if we can get a good figure of this up here so we can actually talk about international law. We're going to be talking about legal positivism later, but let's try to talk about international law really quick. Principles. Let's see if we can get a graph of jus in bello and jus ad bellum, because it might make it easier to follow along. Principles of war, international law. So, jus in bello and jus ad bellum are Latin words which refer to justice in the decision to go to war and justice in how war is then conducted. They evolved from the work of St. Thomas Aquinas, but many modern legal theorists have expanded upon these concepts, and they've been enshrined in various structures running the gamut from the Geneva Protocol to customary international law that's international humanitarian law that's administered by the not administered, but typically aggregated by the International Committee for the Red Cross and the Red Crescent. But I digress again. We're not getting that graphic up here because we're experiencing some struggles. But one of the key principles of international law as it pertains to the laws of war is that a state that is attempting to achieve a military objective must respect the doctrine of proportionality as it seeks to achieve its military goal. Now, when we think of the word proportionality, what do we think of? We think of means, ends, rationality. The means that you use to reach an end must be rational. In other words, you must believe that you're using the least amount of force possible to achieve a given goal. But the issue is, Israel's not doing that. If Israel was doing that, we'd have a full-scale ground invasion wherein it would not have been preceded by the massive bombardments of Gazan skyscrapers that we saw. Rather, it's very likely that it would have instead been characterized literally by the use of special forces teams, dismounted infantry, some armor. Because if you don't bomb the buildings, you don't kill as many civilians. But if you don't bomb the buildings, you lose a lot more troops. And in Israel, just as in Palestine, a Gazan life is valued less than an Israeli life. That's the nature of war and in armed conflict. I'm really struggling to find a good graph here, but we can keep talking without one. I don't need it. But there seems to be one here. But proportionality is an important part. But what we're seeing right now is that the Israelis are going into Gaza and they're doing something very interesting from the perspective of of military doctrine. Normally, when you're operating in an urban environment, especially when you're using armor, that is to say, tanks or APCs, armored personnel carriers, you're going to work with dismounted infantry, foot soldiers, in other words. And essentially, you have your armor there who's going to get fire support for the dismounted infantry that's going to be observing for potential threats to the armor. We're talking about RPGs, we're talking about anti-tank missiles, etc. Now, Israel hasn't done this. Israel bombed the living fuck out of the Gaza Strip first, basically destroying infrastructure. At the same time, it cut water, cut electricity, cut fuel for generators, making it impossible for the Palestinians to run their hospitals. And now it's just going in there, literally with armored bulldozers, destroying roads. And the reason it's doing this, and there's a military rationale for it, is that there could be IEDs. Well, under international humanitarian law, you're going to have to fucking deal with that. You don't get to destroy hospitals. You don't get to destroy civilian infrastructure that's not being used for military purposes. You don't get to bomb fucking hospitals, right? Like what's happening at Al Shifa right now. But Israel kind of has a unique right in this respect, because there's something in the UN Security Council called the Permanent Five. The Permanent Five are the United States, China, England, France, and Russia. And each of these states holds a veto over any resolution that the Security Council can put forth. In this specific case, that brings about a situation in which every time the council wants to condemn Israeli atrocities committed in the West Bank or Gaza or wherever, either it's actually always the United States that will veto it. So Israel's never been condemned in the UN Security Council. As far as I know, it might have happened once, but I don't even think it's happened once. We can fact check that right now because we have the internet. Has Israel ever been condemned in the UNSC? Thank God for the fucking internet, right? Wow, Israel's been condemned 45 times? Oh, that's the Human Rights Council. Yeah, Human Rights Council isn't worth a bag of dicks. Pardon my expression, but it doesn't have any enforcement power, so that ain't gonna do shit. Yo, Wax Potheads, welcome. We are doing some academic shit tonight. Talking Israel-Palestine, talking proper practices for moderation in online forums. We're gonna have a lot of fun being nerdy. But get in there to win there to swim there. We're going to give away a stream pack of all the NFTs we make. And yes, I'm going to send you that shit I need to send you tonight, brother. But back to Israel. Going to the Gaza Strip, armored bulldozers, destroying streets, pulling them up. Essentially, I would make the argument, and I think it's a fair one, that Israel is using disproportionate force opposed to what would be strictly necessary to meet its objectives in Gaza, which is apparently the destruction of Hamas. It keeps making claims that Hamas has this huge tunnel system under the Strip, and I don't doubt it. But I do doubt the specific assertions that Israel is making, for example, regarding a massive tunnel system in command mode beneath Al Shifa Hospital. Israel over the years has been one of the leading countries in intelligence services via Mossad as it has pertained to disinformation. You know, we often hear about Russia, being the king of disinformation. The reason we focus on Russia so much is because Russia's our enemy. We generally consider Israel to be an ally. And in that respect, we don't really talk about Israeli disinformation. But if you want to look at the history of Israeli psyops, there have been quite a few. I mean, Israel blew up an American destroyer in the 1980s off the coast of Gaza and gaslit America into thinking it was Hit's fault. But I'm trying to establish the predicate here that the force that Israel is using in going into Gaza is disproportionate in relation to its war aims and is thus a violation of international law. And how does this link to the concept of a forever war? How, you ask me? Well, okay. We spoke about intergenerational trauma earlier, right? And how it's led the Israelis to cling to territory that might not all be legitimately theirs, and even to expand. And we also discussed the Nakba and the effect it's had on Palestinians. Now, imagine you're a Gazan teenager right now, living in the Strip, seeing the world that you know destroyed by bulldozers and tanks. And we're not talking about justification here. We're talking about causal logic. Seeing that being destroyed, all the while you're also seeing your friends, your family literally being killed. I read of a story of a fucking guy who had 21 family members killed in an Israeli airstrike against a fucking apartment building. Were there Hamas there? We'll never know. But under international humanitarian law, Israel didn't have a right to cut off the water. It could have cut off the power briefly for an operation, but not to fucking hospitals. And it sure as fuck doesn't have the right to basically use this kind of shock and awe, for lack of a better term, approach against the people of Gaza. But you know what? It's doing it. And what's inevitably going to happen is this is the process that is going to radicalize the next generation of terrorists that are going to attack Israel. I don't think there is any doubting this, that this is a certainty. And the logical question to ask is, why is Israel doing this? This sounds really short-sighted, right? Well, have you ever had a look at Israeli domestic politics in the Knesset? The Knesset uses a system of pure proportional representation, as opposed to a single-member plurality district system. This is a system in which the vote is allocated proportionally in terms of seats to the proportion of the vote that you've actually won. Now, in that respect, what happens in a system with PR is that it makes it virtually ungovernable. You need to form coalition governments, and people in coalitions tend to disagree, as people do in life more generally. And what eventually happens is that someone like Bibi Netanyahu, who's facing a wide bevy of corruption investigations at home, gets really fucking desperate because he does not want to go to jail. And because he does not want to go to jail, he forms a coalition government with extreme far-right parties, far-right parties that have openly called for the killing of all Palestinians. And these are fundamentally informing Israeli governmental policy, all the while Benjamin, whatever you want to call him, has to please these different fuckers so that he doesn't lose the position and literally probably go to jail. That's basically what's happening in Israel. So if you link the domestic politics of Israeli civil society to its foreign policy right now, you can see a pretty strong, I'd argue, causal relationship between the methods that Israel is using to prosecute the war in Gaza and the domestic political situation. And you know what? This is going to backfire on Israel. This is going to backfire because, and you're shopping while I'm lecturing, this is going to backfire because it's inevitably going to lead to a situation in which this new generation of Gazan youth are going to be like, well, why did you do this? Why do you think you have the right to our land? Why do you think you have the right to kill our people? And this same cycle that's been repeating itself since the Nakba is just going to keep repeating itself ad infinitum. And that's why the conflict in Gaza is intractable in nature. You have two groups that have been at war forever, that are using ancient texts to justify what they're doing, when both of them are engaged in, if not crimes against humanity, then crimes against conscience. And when you think about this a little more, it leads you to the inevitable corollary that this is not necessary. A lot of attention has been given to the idea of a two-state solution in the Middle East. And most independent thinkers, shall I say, are moving away from that. The status quo, with Israel having annexed so much Palestinian land over the years, is essentially that Palestinians don't have equal rights in Israel. They don't have equal rights one bit. As a consequence of that, and I think I'm lagging here, so I apologize for that if that's the case. Where was I going with this? Right, as a consequence of this, a lot of more, shall we say, progressive-leaning Israelis, at least prior to October 7th, and international observers have actually been calling for a one-state solution, in which the apartheid stops and Palestinians are given an equal role in governance and are given equal civil rights compared to the Israelis. I personally believe that that's the only solution to this conflict. I don't claim to know the absolute truth, but I feel that my opinion is informed both academically and by virtue of what's going on the ground right now. But the international community, for the large, except for perhaps the Arab countries of the Gulf, is basically giving Israel carte blanche to do whatever the fuck it wants in Gaza. And this is only going to benefit one person's interests, and that's Benjamin Netanyahu, who is going to be able to make use of these principles of basically the justification of genocide that the international community has given him to reflect his domestic political interests. So that's Gaza. We've minted 2 NFTs so far. We're definitely going to do more. Now for the fun part, and this is something that I encountered today. Without getting into details, I was timed out in a project chat for the first time in my life. I've never been timed out in a chat room ever. I follow rules as they're written. I don't want to get into what the project was. It's not the point of this stream. I do want to talk, though, about moderators in online communities and in the Web3 space. And the reason I want to talk about mods is because mods, especially in Web3, are typically not paid, right? In some cases they are, but in most cases mods are not paid. Sometimes they're given NFTs or whatever to do their work, but rarely is a mod actually paid. Rather, NFTs or maybe a little bit of the in-game coin here and there. And hey, in some cases they just do it as like literal volunteer work because they like the project so much. And it's really easy to shit on a mod when a mod does something you don't like. But there are also situations, and this is what I encountered today that I want to talk about, where you either have a terrible mod or you create a terrible mod based on your, I don't know if it's your institutional culture, or your approach to moderation itself, I guess I could say. So let's think of a situation. I want to use an analogy here, okay? A moderator is an engineer, and a project administrator is a scientist. Why do I say that? Well, it's a project owner's responsibility to create rules, and it's a moderator's responsibility to implement rules based on how they want their community to be run, because it's their project and they can do what they want. Hey, Buzzking, welcome. We have a grubfish running. Exclamation mark. Yeah, there you go. We're making NFTs on stream, and I'm giving an academic lecture about online moderation and the concept, Carl Schmitt's concept of the exception. Hello. How exciting is that? I can't think of anything more exciting. But yeah, a mod is an engineer. A project admin or creator or owner is a scientist. The scientist creates science, creates truths. The engineer, the mod, implements them. The job of the moderator is not to make policy. So what happens when you have a project or community that doesn't have rules, or has rules that are ambiguous, or that, hey, we don't like certain things or we don't want certain things, but we don't have any rules covering them? What emerges is inconsistency, potential tyranny, and a bad fucking culture. And more importantly than not, unprofessional behavior. And that's what I experienced today, was unprofessional behavior. That's fine. Whatever. I'm moving on. But I do want to talk about it, because there are best practices and there are lessons that can be learned here from the work of Carl Schmitt. And try to find a picture of the old guy. Carl Schmitt, and this is where this gets a little bit controversial. He's one of my favorite legal theorists. And he's well respected. Political Theology, 4 chapters on the concept of state sovereignty, is a classic. He lived to the ripe old age of 97 years old. But if you look at his date of birth and his ethnicity, what do you see? Who was he? Yeah, this is his nickname. The Crown Jurist of the Third Reich. He was a fucking Nazi. And that can't be forgiven. Don't get me wrong. He was a legit Nazi. He wasn't just, oh yes, this is episode 1, sir. Episode 1. This is the flagship program of Prime Yacht Media. Right? Maybe. Might be the last episode. Who knows? But I digress. But yes, he was a literal fucking Nazi. We're talking about stuff. We're talking about law and its application to online communities and moderation. But let's stick with the idea that a project creator creates a truth, as a scientist would, and a moderator is like an engineer who implements the solution in the community in real time in a dynamic fashion. Schmitt, though, he was a Nazi. That is not to be forgiven. He was a legit Nazi. But Schmitt, yo, Marklar, welcome. Because NASA is ran by Nazis for sure. Yes, actually, Project Paperclip is an interesting one. But the thing with Schmitt, though, is despite having been a Nazi, and this sounds fucking terrible, he is an eminently respected legal theorist. His work has actually resonated, and despite being highly controversial, it's cited regularly, and it's associated with something called legal positivism. Legal. Did I get raided, by the way, or did people just suddenly start coming in here? If I did get raided by Marklar, and either way, shout out to Marklar. And I got to shout out Wax Potheads too in a minute. If I got raided, thank you. I don't have any things right now. But also go follow Wax Potheads, my good friend Druber. Oh, that didn't work. I'll need to shut him out in 2 minutes when the thing is over because he can't shut himself out. Yeah, he's been a respected author, and the most important quote that is emanated from Carl Schmitt, and if we search for Carl Schmitt quotes, we will probably find it. It's from page 4 of Political Theology, and my computer keeps freezing a little bit, but the quote is, "Sovereign is he who decides upon the exception." And I want to break this down, y'all, if I can get a Word doc up, because this is a very, very important and core concept. And don't forget, we're going to send the stream pack of NFTs we make on air to everyone who is here. So !yacht and your Wax Wall ID if you want to get in there, swim there to win there, as our good friend Lefty would say. I'm just trying to get this Word doc up with the computer being a fucking cunt. Made of games, but mystery is made out of violence. Well, oh, it's ! Yacht, Marklar. Sorry. Right. Trying to get this Word doc up because I want this to be visual. Hello. God damn it. Here we go. We got a Word doc almost on the main screen. I'm lagging like there's no fucking tomorrow for some fucking reason. All right, let's put this in a big font because we want to look at this quote in detail because it's really important. Sovereign is he who decides upon the exception. And, we're politically correct, so we're going to put they, because women get to decide things now. For better. I'm kidding. Okay. Women do get to decide things, which is great. Sovereign is he who decides upon the exception. Now, there are a few key words here. Sovereign decides upon an exception. Sovereign. Sovereignty was defined by Max Weber, who is not a Nazi, as the monopoly of the legitimate force, use of force over a given territory. Marklar says, he who maketh the rules. Yes, indeed. That's what sovereignty is. But see, in modern times, in the post-Enlightenment era after, Locke and Hobbes did their state of nature stuff and brought us modern philosophy, we're living in a world where we expect to have a constitutional order, a rule of law. In other words, we have written fucking laws. And those are critical for society and stable order to take place. And I'm going to make this case and prove it to you in an emphatic way. Now, a sovereign has power to decide, but the power of the sovereign is normally constrained to what? It's constrained by the Constitution. So the decisions which the sovereign makes in normal times have to be in line with the Constitution or the basic laws of the state. The sovereign can't just be like, whoop, 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 I don't want to jerk off over everybody today. I'm a big fancy fucking moderator and I got a huge fucking dick. No, sovereigns don't get to do that. Not legitimate ones anyway. Theoretically. And this has changed in modern times. They do have to follow the rule of law. But Schmitt makes a very interesting argument that I'm going to summarize. Sovereignty is defined by the power to define the exception. See what Marklar wrote. No, unless I'm mistaken, he who makes the rules. Who makes the rules? Yes, but you're missing one point, Marklar. You're missing one point. And that's what people miss with this quote. And the word that's important here is upon. Schmitt did not write sovereign is he who decides on the exception. And this is not a question of semantics. Where the fuck is strikeout? He did not write on. He wrote upon, which means that the exception, when the constitutional order no longer applies, has two components. The components are when and how we'll respond. These are the two critical elements of sovereignty. The ability in normal times to govern on the basis of laws within a constitution, but then when constitutional government cannot function, for example, due to war, due to 9/11, due to October 7th in Israel, for example, if you want to go that far, a true sovereign is defined by his ability or their ability to say, hey, we have an exception to the normal constitutional order. We need to go beyond the scope of the law so that we can return to the law. With legal positivism suggesting that any society is structured and ordered by the laws that govern it, the principle of sovereignty, as Schmidt puts it, is that a sovereign needs to be able to decide that there's an exception and how to handle it and how to return to normalcy for sovereignty to truly exist. And by the way, for those of you who are joining us, we do have a Grubfish !yacht and your Wax ID if you want to get in. We are making a stream pack of NFTs. And let's go make another NFT with Carl Schmidt, and sovereign is he who decides upon the exceptions. And but Schmidt's conception of sovereignty is critical in understanding what sovereignty is, but also in understanding what I'm going to say about moderation in online communities today. Let's just get this in here. Sovereign is he who decides upon the exception. If anyone has any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'd be happy to take them. I need to clear my throat a bit. It's been a while since I've lectured here. But man, it feels fucking good. God damn. Maybe I should go back to teaching college. I loved it, But academia is even more toxic than Web3. If you think Web3 is toxic, which it fucking is, academia, oof, man, oh man, you are in a whole other brand. Oh, I like two. Ooh, but I also like three. I'm going to make an NFT, and then we're going to get back to talking about sovereignty. We're going to apply it to, what are we going to apply it to? We're going to apply it to moderation in online communities. Because I saw today the most unprofessional moderation I've ever fucking seen. And as I mentioned, I was timed out from a chat for the very first time in my life, in spite of not having broken a server rule. Because there were basically no rules to break. And what I'm going to discuss is why a community needs rules, at least of some sort, so that moderators don't become dictators. Because a moderator doesn't have any legitimate fucking power. That power is held by the project owner. And they can say all that they want till they're blue in the fucking face that I trust my mods. Well, you know what? Oftentimes their mods are going to make bullshit decisions, and they have to stick by them because they don't pay their fucking mods. That's just the nature of the beast. But this is not about a single project. This is about moderation in general and my beef with it. But then again, I've never encountered a problem till today because I follow rules. But when a moderator gaslights you and lies, even though there's literally a chat record and the project could not be fucked to care, you're in a situation in which we're witnessing this kind of dictatorship of the moderator. And you know what? Like, if you've bought into a project, if you're a customer, I personally don't think that's acceptable. I left this project server today because I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this shit. And this is a project that I really liked, that I still think could have a lot of promise. But, I mean, no. you don't get to gaslight members of your community when you're on a little fucking power trip because you got your little moderator badge. And let's explain why after we make this NFT. And we are listening in the background of Sturgill Simpson 2019 Sam and the Fury concept album, which is also a Netflix anime film. If you're interested in checking it out, it is very, very good. I like this one up here. We're going to put it in the pack. Let's make that gold foil, and let's get on with the lecture. Hello. I need to find my lecture notes, though. Yo, dude, yeah, have fun at work if that's at all possible for you. Take it easy, bro. When there's another that dies. So, we talked about Schmidt. And we talked about legal positive. How the fuck does this apply to moderation in online communities, you ask? All right. So we've already established that Schmidt's conception of sovereignty is premised on the notion of deciding upon the exception and upon deciding how to respond to the exception. Let's take this logic and apply it to the moderation of an online community, okay? What do we normally have in a chat room? We have rules, the things that are forbidden. If you do something that's forbidden, you'll be banned or timed out. Some of the universal rules that don't even need to be written are no hate speech, none of that kind of shit, right? But other things are up to the project's discretion. I mean, I've seen some places where it's a free-flowing, multilingual discussion, and I've seen others where, you know, it's one language only. You don't talk about this, you don't talk about that. Today I encountered a unique example. No, we will not be talking about cannabis. A unique example where there are a couple of really vague fucking rules and nothing else, but moderators still feel empowered to make decisions like giving timeouts without any actual basis in the rules. And what they do in doing that, if we take the work of Carl Schmitt, is they are making themselves the sovereign. But guess what? They're not. They're moderators. Sometimes they're volunteers. Sometimes they're kind of like fucking keyboard warrior losers. Sometimes. In this case, I mean, I don't know what the fuck was up with this motherfucker, but like, this was the worst moderator I have run into in my life. I'm in disbelief that this person, even if they're a volunteer, has that fucking role. But let's talk about why this is so fucked. The buck ends with the sovereign. With great power comes great responsibility, they say, right? Yes, that is correct. So, based on the law of logic that sovereign is he or they who decides upon the exception, rules have to be articulated and formulated by a sovereign and then implemented by their subordinates. No one with half a fucking brain cell is going to argue that a moderator is not subordinate to the fucking project administrator. Let me say that again. A moderator is universally subordinate to the project administrator unless they are the project administrator. Their power, like that of an engineer whose work is bounded by science, is to implement policy. They are the bureaucracy to the sovereign. They are the fucking rent-a-cops, if you would like to put it that way. Now, a legal system requires that an authority, as per Schmitt, interpret and apply general legal norms. That is to say, law to cases to function to bring out predictability. And why is predictability important in a democracy or in an online community? Because otherwise, decisions can be made in an ad hoc fashion that disregard reality or the rights of the individual. In Web3, you don't really have any fucking rights. You're more likely to be rug pulled than anything else. But as a customer, as a patron, as a supporter of a project, you're entitled to a bare minimum of respect. And that's where the analogy is critical here, right? So everyone, including those who are in positions of power, are subject to the rule of law, thus preventing arbitrariness in the implementation of law. Well, picture an online community where you don't have very many rules. And you're like, oh, well, I mean, some things are just common sense. The reality of that, and this goes back to ancient Greece and the discussions between Heraclitus and Aristotle. The reality is that meaning, what is good, what is bad, with few exceptions pertaining to taboos, universal yeses and nos, differ from person to person, across culture, across age, across demographic. What's common sense to you is not common sense to me. If I'm eating in some cultures in Africa, I believe Ethiopia, if I eat with my left hand, even if I'm left-handed, because people eat with their hands in these societies, I am being very impolite, because that's your ass wiping hand. And this mod, I'm going to say it because I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm not going to mention the project, but this mod is an ass wipe. He's lying, literally, and seemingly being enabled in doing so. Literally lying. And I've never in my life been banned from a motherfucking chat room or silenced in one because I follow fucking rules. And if I'm not happy with the rules, I fucking leave. But if you're gonna fucking have little fuckers applying rules that don't exist and then being smart asses about it, you're gonna fuck around and find out, okay? So this is what's happening here. This is fuck around and find out time. I'm still not going to mention the project. Oh, man. The story itself is irrelevant. So let's get back to this and mint this NFT. I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up because the degree of absurdity of this situation and the fact that, I mean, there are definitely people in the chat who saw it. The majority of the chat who, I'm not going to get into why they can't express it, actually understood it. Because they're being... I'm not going to get into that because I would give it away. But, yeah, let's just say that there were just a few people in the chat that were displeased with my line of argumentation. And mind you, I wasn't disrespectful to anybody. I was accused of cursing something out, but no, that didn't happen, and the chat log reflects it. I used the F-bomb for emphasis, but it was not directed at a person or policy. So that's horseshit. It's a lie. It's gaslighting. And I have zero fucking tolerance for that. But I digress. If you don't have a set of rules in an online community, as a democracy would have a set of laws governing behavior within it, what are you going to have? You're going to have arbitrary decision making. Arbitrary decision making, especially when it's undertaken by idiots, leads to what you're seeing right now. It leads to anger, disenfranchisement. It leads to the kind of shit we're seeing in Israel and Gaza right now. In a very abstract sense. But getting back to reasoning, if we look at modern societies, right, the rule of law is meant to guarantee that everybody is meant to abide by the same rules, except for one person, the sovereign. And what did Schmidt say about the sovereign? He can decide upon the exception. He can decide when the normal order is no longer okay and needs to be changed. The sovereign, in the case of a Web3 project, the project owner can say, our chat's not functioning as we could like it. This is our project in the context of a private enterprise, so what can we do? We can change our rules. And that's absolutely fine. But if you don't have any fucking rules and you impose a sanction on someone, first of all, you're being a dickhead. And if you're the project administrator and you're facilitating this, you're complicit. You're absolutely fucking complicit. And that's disquieting and disappointing. But Schmidt spoke of balancing sovereignty with democratic principles. In other words, the sovereign always has to bring it back to a state of normalcy. The exception can't last forever. And, with 9/11, a lot of people have argued that America is in a state of permanent exceptionality, that the normal constitutional order has been abrogated via stuff like mass surveillance and a lot of other extrajudicial things. Now, that's debatable. I tend to lean more towards yes than no, but that's not totally relevant. The whole point is that, as applied to an online community, is that if the online community leader imposes a new policy in response to a set of disorder that meant that the existing order was no longer functioning, they've resolved the problem. If they fail to do so, and their agent, aka their moderator, takes action, what happens? Arbitrariness. And what happens with arbitrariness? Nothing can function properly. So what do rules do? What is the purpose of a rule? A law? Just like a law protects a community in the physical world, as in like a nation state or as in a fucking city, rules in online communities create a social contract between the project owner and the project participants that the moderators are tasked with upholding. Without rules, what happens? The moderators can do whatever the fuck they want with no accountability. And given the type of people who generally seek out to be moderators, in my experience, my long experience of dealing with this shit, unfortunately, a lot of them like to use power. In the case of my experience today, and I'm not identifying what I'm talking about. I don't want to get into too many details. Is this moderator, and again, I did not violate any of the rules of this room, asserted to me that if it was up to them, they would have banned me a long time ago, which is fine. But this is exactly the type of power tripping that you enable mods, especially ones with small dick energy, to do when you don't have a baseline set of rules. Because the social contract that exists between users and community managers / project owners is implemented and monitored by the moderators. Moderators do not make policy. They implement it. In the case that I saw today, the worst one I've ever seen, honestly, we have this moderator that is gaslighting people, literally, in a way that is so disappointing considering many things. But the fact that this type of person should not be in a position of power in the first place. They shouldn't be making any fucking decisions. I don't know if they should even be making decisions about what pants they put on in the morning. But to be making decisions about sanctions in a context where no rule exists and when they lack judgment, it's a failure. It's a failure on the part of the moderator, but more importantly, it's a failure on the project owner. And the reason why that is, and we go back to Carl Schmitt, is because the project owner is the motherfucking sovereign of their own motherfucking project. They are to decide the rules, and if the rules no longer matter, they can change them. If they implement arbitrary rules, just as we would protest in a democracy, And we're talking about corporate government. It's not democracy, but the same principles hold. If they do something arbitrary, if the police shoot someone in a manner that's illegal, what do we get? We get protests. And this analogy is a stretch, but if a moderator makes a decision that's outside the realm of what has been defined as appropriate versus inappropriate by the owners of the project, they're doing the project a disservice, they're doing the community a disservice, and they're doing an end user a disservice. But at the end of the day, even if this moderator sucks and might be a shitty human being based on what I've seen, the broader and more important point is that there is a failure of responsibility on the part of the project owner. And let's go back to Schmidt one last time to explain why that's the case. Sovereign is he who decides upon the exception, not on. Sovereign, making rules, deciding upon exceptions. When there's an exception to the normal order, meaning new rules are necessary, and how to respond, which new rule should take place. Hence, it is illegitimate in any order, unless you want to be arbitrary, to impose a sanction on someone for a rule that is not defined unless it is a known universal. This is a basic principle of law, but also of plain fucking logic. And if you're a moderator and you implement rules that you created on the fly, go fuck yourself. Because you are part of the problem. But the bigger problem is your boss who's failed to actually create a set of rules that you can enforce. Because that's their motherfucking duty. Any questions? I'm going to make another NFT. Whew. You're watching the Prime Rogue Show, Uncouth and Unkempt on Prime Yacht Media. Oh man, my voice is taking me here. Oh, doggy's there. Oh, doggy. Oof. That really took a lot out of my voice there. Let's do Degen. Imagine a Degen streamer giving a lecture on Carl Schmitt's political theology psychedelic. Let's see what this gives us. What the fuck are we about to see? Yeah, let's look at what degree of degeneracy we have here. This is interesting, but no. This is just fucking weird. Some subtle variations and some strong variations on this one. Try to get a different view of the person in this one. I'll also see something else. If you're a project and your moderators are allowed to play your game, which is often the case, if you're using a seasoned prize pool, they should not be able to play regardless of whether you're compensating them or not. You know why? Because if they have the power to time someone else or ban someone, they're engaged in a direct conflict of interest because their ability to ban or time out someone gives them competitive advantage in the game. Have you ever thought of that? That's really fucking disturbing. And that's something I also experienced today. So I'm just like, I'm disappointed, man. It's like I might toe the line of a rule, but I ain't gonna break it. Right? I know exactly what I'm doing at all times. If I want to push a button, I'll push a button. Right? I'm not gonna insult someone. I'm not gonna. Wait a second. Imagine a degen streamer with a beard holding a court of law. But I'm not going to break the rule. I'm not saying I won't push it, but I will never break it because I have more respect for the project than that. What I do not have respect for is moderators who make up rules and who lie. And this moderator deserves to be named and shamed, but I can't bring myself to do that right now, and probably won't. But I'm triggered. Speaking of triggered, this came up in another conversation I had today. And yes, I'm playing with a knife. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Can't get what I want here. Someone told me that I was seeking to provoke something when I was really trying to gather information about something that part of the group wanted, the majority of the group clearly wanted to talk about, and the minority didn't. The word provoking means you have the intent to do something. If there is no intent, and if you cannot prove intent, which in criminal law is mens rea, or which in civilized negligence, for lack of any distinction, you're talking about triggering. These are completely different concepts. So get your fucking shit straight before you shove your nose up the ass of a fucking bull. So this is what Father John missed here. So we're getting there. Should I get him holding a book of laws? What the fuck is he holding? No, this will not do. Try again. Add some fuck around and find out vibes. Oh no, I didn't add a fucking command, did I? Fuck me in the ass. Oh, if you've never seen me piss, well, now you're seeing it. Oh, I want to change the music. What's he holding here? Oh, this is a good song. Yeah, I gave some of my money. I gave my money to be gaslit by an idiot. Let's make an NFT about that. About this moderator. Man, this fucking Prime Road show, Uncouth and Unkempt, is fun because I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't care how many people are watching. I make NFTs and just do whatever the fuck I want. This is like the best fucking concept ever. Why don't more people do this? Or do they and I just not know about it? There is no program. There is no agenda. There is ranting. There is madness. There is raving. There is anger. Yeah, we're not getting any love with this. Let's try again after. Let's try take my money and gaslight me. Take my money and gaslight me. You keyboard warning for fuck. It seems like my connection might have fucked up here a little bit, doesn't it? What in the holy fuck is going on now? Did I lose my connection to the stream from this PC? Everything's a shit show. My shirts are so fucking big on me right now. It's ridiculous. I lost weight. And, like, look at the fucking armholes. They're just fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm not a big fucking fan of this shit. Alright, we need to reload this motherfucker. You're watching Prime Yacht Media, so expect technical difficulties. You tell them. Yeah, Buzz. I'm not telling anybody. I'm doing this for myself. I felt the need to vent. So that's more of what's happening, honestly, is venting. I'm re-entering the studio on the other computer so we can get the video back on the screen here. But, you know, at the same time, like, I do have to say, like, I am sad about this. Like, it's a project I've been associated with for a while. And I was just shocked and disappointed as to how this situation happened. If they didn't want a certain thing to be talked about, all they had to do was put it in the rules. But I don't know about you guys. I guess I'd say it's my personal policy to not pay to be gaslit. And that's exactly what happened to me today. And I'm just like, oh, these are funny. He's a fucking pussy. I presume it's a he. This is funny. I like this. Put this in the bag. If you're not in the grub fish, exclamation mark yacht in your Waxworld ID, FYI. Yo, Master AIs, welcome, buddy boy. How you doing, my friend? Get into the grubfish, exclamation mark yacht in your Waxwell ID, good sir. To get the stream pack of stream FTs.
And you got to find that good time, steady your mind, leave the road down ways of the world behind. The music's gonna find a way. Hey, hey, yeah. Oh, shout it from the rooftops, let it go.
Trying to figure out what we're going to do in the next segment of episode 1 of Uncouth and Unkempt, the Prime Road Show, live here on Prime Yacht Media, being viewed by 10 million, I'm sorry, Left House, I feel like I'm ripping you off, viewers around the world, from Ottawa to Ankara and from Adelaide to Austria. The audience for this program is just it's record breaking, ladies and gentlemen, for the Twitch space. This is the most watched broadcast in the history of entertainment television. Take my money and gaslight me, motherfucker. Now I'm cursing at. This is what cussing someone out is. Why would someone literally make something up? And why would a project owner just let it go? I don't know, guys, but you know, I'm actually writing the corporate social responsibility policy for Prime Road Games and Prime Yacht Media. No joke. Check this out. Literally, I am writing our corporate social responsibility. For those of you who don't know what corporate social responsibility is, because I mean, it's not necessarily the most intuitive thing if you don't run a business. It's basically the idea that we want to do good by doing well. We want to treat people with respect. We want to protect the environment. So we're taking proactive steps in all areas of our business here literally is our corporate social responsibility policy that I am literally in the process of writing. Yo, Jet Procs, get in the grubfish, brother. Exclamation mark, yacht, and your wax wallet. You'll get the stream pack of NFTs. So, you know, this is a WIP. It's a work in progress. But speech intolerance. Number one, we believe in free speech because we're doing journalism. We're opposed to cancel culture. We're also opposed to intolerance and hate. So the one exception to our opposition to cancel culture is if you're chronically engaged in intolerance and hate. And we won't do business with you, and we won't do business with the people who do business with you and know it. And yeah, we're going to identify hostile actors, and we're going to name them and shame them. I'm not doing that tonight out of respect, but yeah, we're going to protect our sources at all times. And all of our contractors and employees are going to be fully doxxed. That's just how it is. The only exception to that is, for example, if we have a contractor who's working in like Gaza and perhaps can't be identified because otherwise he'll be fucking killed. But yeah, corporate social responsibility. Learn about it, motherfuckers. If you don't have it, you're not fucking doing it right. Anyway, that's my thought on the matter. Take my money and gaslight me, motherfucker. Yes, I am cussing now. I'm cussing something out right now. This is actually happening. In gold foil. You've been cussed out in gold foil. Just fucking deal with it, you little shit fuck. Anyone, chat, give me some ideas for NFTs. Come on. Y'all are like 9 or 10 of you in here? How many of you are in here? 9 of you in here? Give me some fucking ideas for some NFTs, some NFTizzles. Let's make some more. You're here. I don't know. Just random shit to put in the stream pack. I'm trying to think of what I wanted to talk about next. I already talked about Israel and Palestine, which is the least controversial subject. I talked about Carl Schmitt. Oh man, you know what would be interesting? since this is all about learning here at Primary Gang, I wonder if I have any of my old. Bear with me, folks. Pets and animals walking humans. Let's do that right in a minute. I like it. Do I have any of my old PowerPoints?
If it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the sideboard.
My games, my EndNote library. Might it be somewhere else on the PC? Might it be on the D drive in documents? It's the same thing.
World War, and I don't think nobody's praying no more, and I ain't saying I know for sure. I'm just down on my knees.
You don't want to go in there while on stream. I can guarantee you that. If I do a search for critical security studies.
I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way. Cussing myself every damn day. People have really gone and lost their way. They all just do what the TV say, and I wanna go home.
Are we finding anything from the old lecture notes, or is there any other computer? Could be either way. But let's do this. Let's do. Imagine a really cool dog walking a really pitiful Web3 moderator on a leash. Oh man, that's a lot of wrangling you gotta do there, bud. How's the water situation? Is it still the same as when we spoke earlier? Because that fucking blows, brother. I hear you. Yeah, no. We'll chat later, I suppose. Look at the cute doggies. You're listening to Torgear Valdemar. UTA next Wednesday on Plumber. Shit. What the fuck is going on? They're in cobwebs? No, that's not going to work. Oh, because of the web. A dog walking a human who is wearing a leash, who's wearing a collar and being led with a leash. How about that? If the Lord wants me and he knows who I am, 'cause I'm covered in blood. If the Lord wants me and he knows who I am, 'cause I'm covered in blood. A human on its hands and knees being walked by a dog holding the leash in its mouth. Come take me home. Oh, come take me home. No, I want the fucking dog walking the fucking human. a dog walking a human. Human on a leash with a dog master controller. Okay. Imagine human on a leash with a dog master controller. Might need to do a little bit of finagling here. AI, do your fucking job. Earn your meat. I mean, these pictures are cute and shit, but they're not what we want. Let's try something here. Oh, these are cool, though. I gotta mint this one, guys. This is a dope fucking NFT. It's a dope output we got here. We used a bunch. Hey, Carly, nice to see you. We used, or Derek, sorry. We used a human walking a dog. We used, basically we used every permutation of leash, dog, collar, mouth, that could possibly be thunk of from as far as I know. Canine cyberpunk with a pet human on a leash. All right, let's try that once we get an unfreeze, because we're frozen again, guys. Anyone like Wilco? Because Jeff Tweedy has some amazing fucking solo records, guys. I'm an American aquarium drinker. I assassin on the avenue. I'm hiding out in the big city drinking. What was I thinking when I let go of you? Now she got the guitar out or the banjo. About the tongue-tied lightning. Let some dress just like cross-eyed strangers. This is not a joke, so please stop smiling. What was I thinking when I said it didn't hurt? Oh, Wolfpack! Alright, it seems like this shit just fucking crashed on me. I figured. Welcome. I would shout you out if the computer wasn't shitting the pot. What was I thinking when you said goodbye? I'm sober, by the way, guys. Seriously, I really actually am. That freedom. Okay, if you're not in the Grubfish exclamation mark yacht and your Waxwell ID to get the stream pack from what's the show called again? Uncouth and Unkempt, episode 1. Some cunt said I was uncouth and unkempt to me in a letter once, and it was like the only true thing in there, and I really liked it, and I used to be associated with an organization that kind of prevented me from using that, and I'm not anymore, so I'm like a free man again. So I'm like just using the fuck out of uncouth and unkempt because I actually really like the expression. It's like the only good thing that person has ever done in my life. So thank you for that. I'm trying to break your heart. All right, come on. Do you guys know the song? I love the song. Now we grieve, cause now it's gone. Things were good when we were young. The text went down, I could see the blood of 1,000 men who would come and gone. Now we grieve, cause now it's gone. Things were good when we were young. Be safe to say, come on, come on. Was it right to leave? Come on, come on. Did you ever learn? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No way, come on, come on. How do you not get strikes? How does this work? Well, I've never had a strike ever, to be honest with you, but I found that two things help. The first being that if you play a live version of a song, it generally doesn't detect it. Your mileage may vary. The second thing is if I play it on my phone in the background, I think the audio is deprecated enough that it doesn't detect it generally. I mean, it might pick it up once in a while, but it'll just mute that part of the video. So it's like, who the fuck's watching the VOD anyway? So, like, if I'm doing something where I care about people watching the VOD, I won't play the tunes. You know, like I'll just be a little bit more careful. Since this is all about the rule of law tonight, guys. When there are no moderators. Oh, I use mockery to calm anger. I'm sad. Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to. I mean, I'm not an OBS guy. I'm a StreamYard guy because I often have guests on. Hey, by the way, you and Carly should come on. I'd love to have you guys on for an interview if you guys want to do one, because we're going to be starting to do interviews. And Marklar is going to be on this week. And we're talking politics with Marklar. Can't fucking wait. I'd love to have you guys on. Drew's already been on, but Drew has a standing invitation. Yeah. Wait, what did I do? Did I create the template or not? Oh, I'm in the wrong template. That's why. Nice. I didn't know if you guys did cameras or not. I mean, you don't have to do a camera if you don't want to anyway. But no, I'd love to have you guys talk about VIRL, talk about... I mean, I think VIRL is like part of the future of web. It is actually. I think it's kind of critical, but I mean, especially if there's scarcity involved. But I mean, what do I know? I'm just some idiot who got timed out in a chat for the first time in his life today. For not breaking a rule. We do wolves, we can do cameras too. We actually have lots of videos. Oh, dude, can do that. You can totally come on as wolves. Anything goes. As I was saying when I was looking at our corporate social responsibility policy at Prime Road here, everything except hate goes. I mean, you can come in as furries, as squirrels, as wolves, as guinea pigs. I don't fucking know. Whatever you want to do, just like, as long as it's filled with love, man. Love and satire. And if you're angry, talk about it academically. Someone had a question about politics they'd like me to answer? Any question? I feel like lecturing again, but I haven't. I don't have it. I can't think of a topic. I mean, I already went on about Carl Schmitt and his applicability to online forum moderation. I talked about Israel and Palestine, which was... Maybe I should erase that part of the VOD. No, I'm kidding. I stand by everything I said, actually. Like, literally every word I said, I stand by. Seriously. I don't fuck around. Oh, we need to do a fuck around and find out NFT. I'm a big believer in fuck around and find out. And, you know, the good thing about fucking around and finding out is sometimes you won't find out for a long time. But when you do, it's fun. Fafo you. Oh yeah. What the fuck? Why do you think my prompt is fucked up? I want to retro fuck around and find out. Fafo, bitch. Sorry, that was not nice. I shouldn't have said bitch. I apologize for that. This really is coffee. Like, see? Like, this is literally coffee. I am sober. I don't drink. I mean, I do, but I only drink on holidays. What the fuck? Fuck around and find out retro is giving me, like, couples from the 50s fighting and men in bubbles? That's fucking weird. My Discord. Yeah, sure. Let me drop that in the chat here. Y'all should get in there. Oh, wait, I can't drag it over to another computer now, can I? Where is the thingy that does the thingy? It's right here. Oh, we weren't done buying my coffee beans yet. Let's go back and find what coffee. That's not an invite. You need to get coffee beans. I'm supposed to do that on stream. You guys are going to help me pick my coffee because I need coffee beans. So let's do that now. Then we'll make another NFT about fucking around and finding out. But yeah, let's buy some coffee beans on Amazon. If you look at my cart, you'll be like, oh, maybe, yeah, maybe I should be buying some chocolate. Sorry. I'm an asshole. Coffee beans. Normally, I live four doors away from a coffee roaster, but I don't have cash, so I can't use their whole bean. Was the word I'm looking for? Okay, whole bean coffee. None of that fucking ground shit. It looks like an NFT hash. It probably is. All right, 1 pound organic, 12 ounces, 907 grams, kosher, don't care, whole bean, salt spring. Anyone know any of these brands? Kicking Horse, Pacific Pipeline, 1 pound. California stars, my grace. How about shining over me? You haven't had coffee in 15 years? How is that possible? Oh, wait. Okay, maybe you have... Yes, okay. I'm presuming that you have an alternative. I think we may have... No. Kevin? Discipline. I don't know what coffee to buy here. I don't know these brands. I prefer 1 kilogram bag to a pound, but I mean, this is way too expensive for 12 ounces. Kosher coffee, grizzly carb. What is this shit? We were literally at the store today when we went to the library. Whole bean coffee, dark roast, rich dark chocolate, decadent. That sounds good. You drink the heck of caffeine. Yeah. I drink way too much coffee, and I was actually like reading some stuff today about I might try to cut back. Okay, so here's Kick-Ass, smoky sweet vanilla. I love smoky flavors. Do they have Kick-Ass and stuff? It's currently unavailable. Fuck me in the ass. Oh wait. Oh, but they have it in ground? Fuck it. I might just get ground coffee. It's way cheaper. I'll try this. I don't like ground coffee, but for an emergency. Why not? Maybe just a little surprise here. Peanut butter M&Ms. She really likes peanut butter M&Ms, ladies and gentlemen. Candy sharing bag or bowl size bag. I don't get mad if I get the bowl size bag. She got her like jar. Add both and I'll choose later when I finalize. Yeah. That should be it. She really loves peanut butter M&Ms, y'all. Oh, what kind of sunflower seeds are in stock? I always gotta check that. I love sunflower seeds. I got them right here. It's like some people like dip. I like the sunflower seeds, y'all. That's good shit. The only problem is I used to spit them out of my desk, and she did not like that. I wish I could buy them in bulk. These are way overpriced. Black oil, sunflower seeds. Oh, bird food. No thanks. I mean, whatever. Yo, this is $45.99 for 6 of them here. It's $2 at Walmart for one. It's the same size. I don't like pumpkin seeds. I drink about 2 pots a day too. You know what? I don't feel like going off stream yet. I have a few more NFTs to mint, and I want to do some more academic stuff tonight. If no one has a topic, I'm going to give Lecture 1 of Introduction to International Politics 101, like I used to do in university when I taught, unless someone wants me to teach something else. And I'll make international politics NFT. I've got to find someone else's slide deck. Introduction to IR PowerPoint slides. Let's see if they're covering the right thing. Slide share. York University? Yeah. Let's see. Oh no, stuck in my child. Let's see what this guy covers. This looks pretty shitty. No, it's not a good intro. Who the fuck made this? No offense. Maritime law. I know nothing about maritime law. Mr. Doug Perkins. What are you up to, Mr. Doug Perkins? Religion around the world? No. God damn. I mean, I do know a bit about fisheries law. See if I can dig something up here. See if we can have a talk about maritime law. I might be able to wing it. Let me just see if I can find some references here. I'm sure I could wing it. I mean, I studied it. I can't remember some things right now. So we have the maritime law. You're an asshole, Drooper. I get prepared for maritime law. Let's see if I have my old shit. Yeah. Oh, actually. I want to try to do it. I actually have old notes on maritime law. Well, rather than talking about contemporary maritime law, what I think we're going to do is we're going to talk about the evolution of maritime law over time, which will make an awesome NFT once we figure out how to fuck around and find out. What if I just put FAFO? But as a starting point, maritime law, which was also known under the term admiralty law, has undergone quite a drastic evolution from, like Athenian times to the present day, which is basically the time period we're going to track. If we think about it, maritime law was historically bilateral, but has grown multilateral over time as a result of globalization. And we're seeing an increasing number of disputes, whether they're tied to fisheries. Holy shit, this little fucker's scary. Fisheries or territorial possessions, notably in the South China Sea. But let's start talking about the ancient Greeks and how they handled disputes pertaining to maritime law. So basically, at the time, things were kind of done on a bit of an ad hoc basis in peacetime. And in wartime, it was kind of a no-holds barred type of situation. But the earliest function of maritime law was not to promulgate law per se, as much as it was to create bilateral settings for dispute resolution. So the Phoenicians and the Greeks would get together when there were disputes, and either they'd go to war or they'd come to some type of negotiated settlement. Now, one of the earliest formalized maritime codes, which was multilateral, but kind of confined to the Mediterranean, was known as the Rhodesian Maritime Code of about 800 BC. We don't necessarily know the exact date. And it set the earliest precedents that we're aware of for salvage, shipwrecks, and it also established the principle of there being a legal duty to assist seamen who are in danger excuse me, at any given time. But this was highly fragmented and regionalized at the time. It's really during the Roman period, as Rome expanded after the fall of the Roman Republic, and it became the Roman Empire, that we truly kind of see the first instantiations of codified maritime law. And with Pax Romana kind of acting as a hegemon of sorts, you have to realize that just as international law today reflects the priorities of the United States as a systemic hegemon, the international law of that time period reflected Rome's priorities. And in that respect, it was law, but it wasn't necessarily consensual. It's more like it was imposed. Two critical concepts here are jettisoning and general averaging, with jettisoning representing the legal term used for cargo that was purposefully disposed of, but done so with purpose. And this tied in with the association of insurance into maritime law. Because if you had to justify why cargo was, for example, thrown overboard in relation to insurance claims, there needed to be a framework for that. And that emerged during the Roman period. And the general averaging was tied to basically the classification of ships and how insurance would be drawn in relation to them. Now, it's really during the medieval period, though, that we see the codification of far more consensual forms of international law. Remember that during the medieval period and the Renaissance, we're talking about a lot of maritime trade. Again, mostly in the Mediterranean, that's tied to city-states like Geneva and Venice, which are trading cities, and the development of the caravel and other, kind of relatively rapid ships able to carry pretty decent cargo. So, two critical treaties during this time were the Roles of Oleron, which I think was in the 12th century, and then there was one in Barcelona in the 14th, but that basically codified how duties would be established in relation to salvaging, to insurance, and to responsibility for the sad little boy who became a mod, right? But admiralty courts in the late medieval period and into the 18th century were basically the foundation of modern international maritime law, in as much as they set up kind of the tribunal system that we're used to today in the context of British imperial rule and the spread of British colonialism. In that respect, the creation of a separate standing court system for maritime cases was basically critical, because it created this concept, which still exists today, which is that the maritime jurisdiction is unique, even as it pertains to criminal law and civil liability. Dispute resolution in the maritime sphere is not always based on the same rules that would be applied in the domestic legal sphere. So that's really kind of the from Roman innovations in imposing international law to British imperial developments of tribunals. That's like kind of the linear narrative that inspires us or brings us rather to where we are today. And these admiralty courts, with this notion that there was a separate jurisdiction for the sea, also led to formalized maritime treaties alongside the Treaty of Westphalia more broadly, which, as some of you might know, in 1784 established the modern state system, basically by dividing European territory into the form we sort of kind of know today. And as this happened, and as travel grew just, more prominent, these standing treaties were created. One of these that was critical was the Black Book of Admiralty in England in 1687, I believe. Two really key legal principles from this period were the law of the flag and the freedom of the seas. The law of the flag is the premise that a ship at sea is an extension of the continental or the physical land jurisdiction of a given country, which still exists today. So if you commit a crime on a British ship, chances are you'll be subject to British law, which is super interesting. And with regards to the freedom of the seas, it was basically the idea that aside from your territorial waters, which we'll get into in a little bit, the high seas were free, and no state could impose an impediment on the activities of another state in that respect, outside of wartime, where it's a normative behavior. With the 19th century and industrialization, which obviously affected shipping, international maritime conventions that still exist today came about. So the Hague Rules of 1924 basically took the types of legal principles that we use for insurance claims in domestic society and implemented them in relation to the high seas. So we're kind of seeing really a formalization that starts with the Admiralty Courts and the establishment of a separate maritime jurisdiction, which then evolves to the shared global consensus that this maritime jurisdiction is truly universal, as the seas are, because they're seen as a collective good, right? And based on that, international institutions, many of them tied to the United Nations, which start emerging after World War II, really start, what's the word I'm looking for? Really start structuring dispute resolution in the international maritime legal system. So we have the International Maritime Organization, which emerges, Safety of Life at Sea, MARPOL, which is the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships. We have a bunch of different fisheries treaties, like the Great Grand Banks Cod Fisheries Agreement of 1980. It's either 1987 or 1993. Someone have to look it up. But these are all examples of this greater consolidation and agreement that the high seas need to be. What's the word I'm looking for? Collectively governed would be the word I'm looking for. Collectively governed. Although, as we're going to get into in a little bit, we're going to see that there are current challenges pertaining to this governance that are tied to states that are currently trying to revise this system to favor themselves. And we're going to talk a lot about China in a little bit. Sorry, but just answering a message here. Gotta walk to the well. Yeah, no worries, brother. No worries. We're going to talk about some maritime disputes in a moment here. But yeah, so, we have these international organizations that start emerging in the 20th century. And basically they create this global structure that's pretty much widely accepted. And it's only, widely accepted through the bipolar period of the Cold War, where the Soviet Union and the United States are kind of, the global acceptance of maritime law, psychedelic. The global acceptance of these norms of behavior. But basically, things kind of start going to shit around the late 1990s, early 2000s. One thing that a lot of us know about is piracy. Piracy off the coast of Somalia, piracy in the straits of whatever those straits near Malaysia are called that I can't remember the name of right now. But basically there are 5 major, that I know of, sets of disputes pertaining to fisheries and to territorial possessions pertaining to the continental shelf that are going on right now. There's territorial disputes in the South China Sea that are being kind of... China is egging the world on, in a way. In terms of both territorial claims, first, and second, in terms of fisheries. There's also a significant dispute around the Korean Peninsula in Japan regarding fisheries there that you might not know about. There's a significant dispute between the EU and the UK about fisheries. And, there's a long-standing one that's associated with the Falklands War that is tied to Argentina and the UK. And I'll talk about each of these briefly as I try to make this NFT. Reflecting globalism. Let's start with fucking hell. Start with South China Sea territorial disputes. So, okay, if you look at China geographically, let's pull up a map. This will make it easier to visualize. China, South Pacific Sea exclusive economic zones. So, in modern international law, each state has what's called an EEZ, which is a exclusive economic zone. So, China South Pacific Sea exclusive economic zone, and the rules surrounding these theoretically is that only the state that owns the territory that is contiguous to the shoreline and which extends 200 nautical miles out, only that state or any other state that shares it by virtue of shoreline geography is allowed to operate in it without the consent of other states that are also contiguous. Now, if we look here, we're going to see that there are already some pretty significant overlaps. So, for one, China doesn't recognize Taiwan's existence, and Taiwan is in the middle of China's EEZ. There's a dispute here between Japan and China about where each country's EEZ ends. But it really gets kind of funky down here near Vietnam and the Philippines. And if you look at this area here with Paris Island, the Scarborough Shoal, and the Spratly Islands, what China started doing is it started creating, yes, maritime law does overrule USA law on land in circumstances where people fall under its jurisdiction, if that makes sense. It doesn't have universal precedence. It has universal precedence for individuals like sailors falling under its jurisdiction. But these islands, so what the Chinese are doing right now is they're building artificial reefs and islands here so that they can expand their EEZs, their exclusive economic zones, into the territorial waters of Vietnam and the Philippines. So this is causing a lot of conflict in the region because of the high dependency on fisheries that exist there. And given that China is militarily more powerful than all of these states combined, this is creating significant tensions in the region. Now, in 2016, the International Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled in favor of the Philippines regarding the Scarborough Shoal here, but China's just decided, like, hey, fuck it, we're not going to listen to the decision, and kept doing what it's doing. So this is one of the global flashpoints for a future potential war that a lot of people talk about, but also fisheries. Oh, yes. China has basically the largest fishing fleet in the world right now. And what it regularly does without, notice or permission is it fishes in the exclusive economic zones of other countries throughout the region. And this, is in line with the territorial claims it's making here in relation to Spratly, Scarborough, and Paris. But it's really pissing its neighbors off, to say the least. China also has a tendency to not follow rules, so it's also leading to significant patterns of overfishing that several international tribunals have examined. And there have also been minor skirmishes between fishing vessels and fishing vessels and military vessels, notably those of Vietnam, South Korea, and Indonesia, which have confronted Chinese fishing fleets in their territorial waters, and water cannon wars have emerged and whatnot. Moving away from there to the North Pacific, if we look at waters around the Korean Peninsula and Japan, a little bit north of here, there's significant disputes because their EEZs, or exclusive economic zones, basically are completely overlapping. And it's all about all these countries eat a ton of fish, and North Korea, for one, tends to not follow any rules whatsoever when it comes to fishing. So this is creating significant disputes with Japan and South Korea over mackerel and a fish called sarai or saray. I don't remember how it's pronounced. In the Atlantic, the EU and the UK, now that Brexit has happened, is also a source, are also experiencing a significant fisheries dispute. And a lot of this has to do with territorial waters. Again, during when the UK was in the EU, it could basically fish anywhere the fuck it wanted to within EU waters. Now, this has changed. The EU and the UK did negotiate a trade agreement when the UK left. But questions pertaining to like quotas and where the UK can fish specifically are being challenged by individual EU members based on the premise that the UK is no longer a member, and thus cannot, make claims that we'll fish where the fuck we want to. So that is another massive dispute that's happening right now. And finally, in terms of ongoing fisheries and maritime claims disputes, we have the South Atlantic fisheries dispute, which is an oldie and a goodie, tied to Argentina and the UK. Now, remember, the United Kingdom, I'm trying to call it the supremacy of maritime law, funky, dystopian, groovy. Basically, the UK suggests that its easy extends across the Falklands, which brings it into Argentinian waters. And the Argentines are not really big on that idea, notably after the war in the Falklands. So there's some pissing going on around there. So, having taken that from ancient Greece to the current day, we can kind of see this evolution from like fragmented to consolidated structures of international maritime law. But there are a few I guess themes that persist. One is sovereignty, which we were talking about earlier in relation to Carl Schmitt, and disputes over territory. These have grown significantly from the EU and Britain to China and its neighbors, and that is one of the major flashpoints in contemporary maritime law. Increasing concerns over resource management and responsible fisheries are also a significant source of concern in the modern day maritime law context. What's this? I kind of like it too. It has a steampunk vibe. There's a pattern by which these obviously reflect broader geopolitical tensions, like China's rising power in the context of American hegemony. Yeah, this one is sick. I'm gonna make this one an NFT for this pack. So this will be slot 7, I think. I was aiming to have 8 slots, so it's kind of lining up. Let's get that up on Pinata. And then, environmental concerns are growing at a rate that is far more significant than what we saw in the, years of the early development of maritime law. So, transnational agreements are increasingly leading for maritime law to be embodied, for environmental concerns to be embodied in international treaties pertaining to maritime law. And that is also a bone of contention, so to speak. But also, we do have to realize that, in the post-World War II period through today, we have seen more progress in terms of cooperation than we've seen conflict. Conflict is coming back as China rises. but it's kind of the aberration to the rule rather than the rule, if that makes any sense. We're kind of moving into a period of conflict in relation to maritime law, it would seem. So it's kind of like we had this period of harmony or pseudo harmony that resulted from American hegemony that's very much declined over the past decade or so. Get this minted. You got water, got your favorite number to sing. And oh, whoa, the supremacy of maritime law. Just call it the supremacy of maritime law. That's just it. Murdered my throat, seeming dirty all night. Laid him in the boat, and now he crumbles. How interesting. Bull, they're golden no more. Now I'm standing in my throat. Caught in a whirlwind, I'm going ahead. Why is this IPFS not? Fuck me. I hate it when you have to unpin them and re-pin them because they haven't proliferated yet. Then you come back and it's proliferated already. Fucking pain in the ass. Ooh. Crying shame what we became. The morning light and said goodnight. I held her hands and I kissed her eyes. Circled down the stairs, rang myself on high. Let's get this one minted, then let's get one more in the pack. Let's see what I'm going to talk about last on this episode of the Prime Rogue Show, episode 1. There is no schedule. There is no program. This is me doing whatever the fuck I want to, whenever the fuck I want to, and feeling good about it. And that matters, ladies and gentlemen. As 12 million people watch us, as our good friend Left House would say. And if you're not in the Grabfish, get in there to swim there to win there. Or get your pack. Yeah, whatever. I'll figure it out later. I'll be minting them literally live. Live pack minting. Man, I could explain how to make a pack later. Mint on demand, motherfucker. I ain't living like I should. Little help might do me good. Got to sink in the place where I once stood. You know what? The last thing I'm going to do in this segment is I'm going to reiterate how much of a fucktard that moderator was in a different way. Let me think of another logical format. Something that this fucking idiot could understand. I need to think. Because you know what? I'm not over this. I'm fucking pissed. We might go for 10 more hours. Whether there's 10 people watching or 10,000. Or 1. Or none. Just need to check a message, guys. I'm sorry. Don't look. Oh wait, you can still see my screen. Well, you can't see which project it was. This is the piece of shit. Someone's asking me who it was. I'm ripping him a new asshole. on stream and have been for how long right now? Been on for? Does anyone know how long I've been live for? 2.5 hours. It's hilarious. He's a fucking gaslighting son of a bitch and a piece of shit. And the project can fuck itself. I'm sorry, guys. I have another message to respond to. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. This is funny. Oh my god. What a fucking joke. So earlier we were talking about Carl Schmitt and the need for a community to have rules for moderation to, be effective, because a moderator is not a decision maker. A moderator is an implementer of the decisions of another. If you have a moderator who is empowered to make decisions, you are doing things wrong, because the moderator is not the project administrator. If you don't have a set of rules, the moderator is not a judge. A legislator. The moderator cannot promulgate and adjudicate at the same time. That is not their job or function. If you don't define your project rules and you have moderators making ad hoc decisions, you are fucking up, and you are fucking over your audience, your fucking community, if you want to call it that, long term, regardless of which fucking project you are or where you're operating. And it's like, I just can't. The degree to which moderators seem to get off on these power trips, to the point where they're gonna fucking lie about what happened. I don't know if it's pretty clear to me that this person's first language was English, but there is an absolute distinction between cussing, in the sense of cussing for emphasis, that's fucked up, versus cussing something out, which is like, that fucking policy is fucking stupid and should be fucking put to an end. That is cussing a policy out. Or cussing someone out. That fucking idiot is a fucking piece of shit and should fucking die. That's cussing someone out. Saying that's fucked up, that's not cussing something out. That is cussing for emphasis. And somebody who doesn't have the judgment to see that is not acting in good faith, for one. Gaslighting in the second instance. And it's just like, I don't understand. I literally don't. Why moderators? It's like, you know, why don't we talk a little bit about psychology? Let's gotta close this. And why it makes people kind of power trip. Let's kind of do an overview of that. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but I've studied a bit of psychology, so let me put my thoughts together here, so that we can look into that. So when you don't really have rules in a community, and when you put a person in a position of authority, what you're doing is essentially creating the perfect storm for people to, power trip. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Once we've had our base needs like food and shelter established, we pursue higher order needs, fulfillment, etc. Someone in that position who's gonna lie and gaslight to just be a moderator, they're not doing that out of goodness or purity. They're doing that because their needs are otherwise unfulfilled. And gaining ego, or the sentiment of ego as Freud would have it, is a very cogent explanation of why a moderator might lie or otherwise distort reality, so as to, I don't know, feel better about their shitty fucking life. But either way, it's abjectly pathetic. But confirmation bias is also in place, because if you have a project or community that doesn't have established rules, right? One of the things that's going to happen is that members of that community are going to build informal rules, and the moderators might challenge these in a dynamic and evolutionary way, which is kind of normal. But if you don't ultimately bring about rules, the moderator is going to get like a dopamine hit every time he or she feels like they quote unquote win. And I think that's another really important source of this type of power tripping. But I'm kind of less interested in the psychological dimension. To be honest with you, I'm just like, I just can't. Like, literally for today, never in my life have I had an issue with a fucking moderator. I follow rules. If a fucking project chooses not to fucking write their rules, that's not my fucking problem or my fucking fault. And to time someone out when they haven't broken a rule and then to lie about the reason why is absolute horseshit. It's unprofessional. It's the last NFT. The most unprofessional piece of shit in the world doing a terrible job in a shitstorm. Really? You think I'm violating your content policy? Apparently not. Oh man, I think we have a piece of shit here. Always late, haven't been early. Oh my god. This is how I picture this fucking moderator living. Although it should be his mother's basement. Let me replace the guy with a slovenly degen. Slovenly crypto boy degen. This mod is apparently a hype person for some coin called Ben. Gotta track it down. See what kind of shit he's up to over there. A crypto degen loser.
Taking my time with the world. I'm gonna do it my way. It'll be alright if we burn it down and it takes all night. So,
Oh, number one. Looks like it might be a champion. Oh, what a night. What a show. What a show here on Prime Yacht Media. Oh, someone in that chat earlier said they didn't care about John Moreland. Well, let's play some John Moreland. Let's break my heart sweetly, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to sing along here. I love this song. If I'm out of tune, I apologize. Oh, he's not as much of a... Is he as much of a loser as I thought he was? Oh, nice! Welcome, Heretic. Let me give you a shout out, bro. I didn't see you were in here. Shout out to Heretic. Oh, I forgot to do... Are you a mod, Heretic? You should be. Can you, Heretic, can you shout out Wax Potheads, please? If you're able. If you're capable, because I don't know if I can shout him out right now or not. Let's see. Y'all go follow Heretic. He's a cool dude I just met like last week. I have to wait. I can't shout anybody out.
There's a scar on my soul, so let me down easy.
I have no idea, bro. I can't see it. Let's see. Let's see if I do it. Oh, no, I have to wait a minute. I'll do it in a minute 32. I'm good, bro. Can't let go till you wreck me. Thank you. Oh, awesome, Heretic. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it. If you're not into Grubfish, ! Yacht and your Waxwell ID, and I will send you the stream pack from Uncouth and Unkempt, episode 1. Get on in there to swim there, win there, as our good friend Left House would say. I think we're finding a picture of our moderator here.
I was never scared of nothing.
Oh, number 4 looks like it's going to be the one, I think. Take it alone. I'm finding all this well-worn sadness.
I never knew I cared, and I still chase you in the heartache every time you take a step.
Oh, this is perfect.
There's a scar
on my soul, so let me down easy.
break my heart sweetly, like you always do. I guess I can't let go till you wreck me completely. Break my heart sweetly, drape me in blue.
That moderator guy, or should it be the it's like a tribute to this fuckwad. Oh wow, you got 5. Let's see what I have. Maybe I won something.
You had
I got some badges, some promo NFTs. Oh, Wax Wolf, hello! Holy shit, I got a lot of stuff. So I got my exhibitor badge. I got a Jumbie Art Guy Fox. I got 2 Orchid Hunter things. I got a fucking booster pack. I got my own promo pack. I got a Wombat thing. I got a Nova Pangea, Goofballs, Mega Mystery Box 3, 2 Wax Wolves t-shirts. They're lovely. A generic scope for crypto shots, 2 common pins, 2 5-packs, a Pope, Metaverse Scavenger, First Class Tracer, First Class Artist, Metaverse Dweller, and Trivia Wiz Epic. Hello. Is there a higher level than Epic? Nice. I don't play Wombat, but good. What's in a Wombat pack? What's an Ita promo pack? Let's see. Oh, nice. A gold constructor. Now that's something. Do you play Colonize Mars? If ever you want to know how to play it, or if you're trying to sell it, let me know. I got a level 1 Spork. I don't know if that's good. Oh, it's Epic. Maybe that's good? I can't tell. I have no idea what this is. I do not Wombat at all. I cannot click any more than I've clicked. I've clicked enough in my life. Oh, fucking ad time? I thought I disabled them. I guess not. Well, the shins. Let's get this last NFT minted, and we will give you all these packs. Oh, then I gotta make the pack, right? Gold teeth and a curse with this town. You're all in my mouth. Only I don't know how they got out, dear. Turn me back into the past I was when we met. I was happier then with no mindset. And if you look to me like a girl takes to the wind, the Quixotic Keyboard Warrior mod variant. No, the Quixotic Keyboard Gaslighter. What a cunt. This is cursing someone out for the record. Both through the heart. Hands to the wall, and I'm lonely. And if you talk to me like a girl takes to the wind, and if I jump to my dreams, would dance like the ring of the ice, and the rest of our lives would have fared well. All right, we need to make a pack cover. Let's call this the moderator pack. What did you get from the pack? I got I got this thing here. I got an epic thing. I don't know what it does. It's I got this little thingy here. Spork level 1. Is this good or not good, or I have no idea. It blends spoonfuls of utility and stabby chaos. Well, it sells for 1.2 wax, so I'm guessing it's pretty mediocre, right? I would think. I'll still make like 10 cents a season if I click. It's shit. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh. All right, let's make a pack cover for the moderator pack. The moderator can lick my taint. Oh, really? You didn't like that? Oh, man. The pack was worth a ton more, probably. Define a ton more. The moderator sucks. Sucks is too much for this fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, when I was only 17, I could
Really?
hear the angels whisper.
Man, that's a little ridiculous.
So I drove into the woods and wandered aimlessly about until I heard my mother shouting through the fog.
God damn, I should have sold that piece of shit.
It turned out to be the
Yeah.
howling of
I'm not having a great day today, to be honest with you, so I'm not surprised. Oh, here's our moderator up in two right here. Let's not dignify him with a fox.
They allowed me to join in and sing their song. So from the cliffs and highest
All right, so we're gonna do this the fancy way. 32 wax, eh? Eh, whatever. I'm a degenerate. I just opened this shit. All right, let's make this pack. Oh wait, I don't need. Yes, I need to write on it. That's what I need to do. If you're not in the Grubfish exclamation yacht and your wax will ID if you want to get a copy of the stream pack. All right, let's draw on here. Drawing tool. Wait, this is the wrong tool. Like a river on fire, and you better be sure if you're making God a liar.
I'm a rattlesnake, babe. I'm like fuel on fire, so if you're gonna get me, don't be afraid of what
The
you
fuck? No, I don't want that.
On the day that I turned 23, I was curled up underneath the dogwood tree, when suddenly a girl with skin the color of a pearl, she wandered aimlessly, but she didn't seem to see. She was listening for the
Uncouth
angels
and
just like
Unkempt
so I stood
pack.
and looked about. I brushed the leaves off of my snout, and then I heard my mother
Zero,
shouting through the tree.
zero,
You should have seen
one,
that girl go shaky at the
three.
knees. So I took her by the arm, we settled down upon our farm and raised our children as gently as
Ah,
we
it keeps going. The moderator, there. That's a great pack. Oh, good luck. 38 wax. Hello. This is perfect art. How do I download it?
But I still dream of running careless through the snow, through the howling winds that blow across the ancient distant flow.
Okay, now I need to redo this. That sucks. Let me try to do it on Paint 3D. Probably be better. I am wishing you luck actively. Well, you're fair, like a river on fire, but you better be sure if you're making God a lie. I'm a rattlesnake, babe. I'm like fuel on fire, so if you're gonna get paid, don't be afraid of what you are. Oh yeah, I love this song. Oh, and I just fucking turned it off. Here we go. Let's go. Let's finish our pack. Uncouth and Unkempt. Jesus Christ, girl, what are people gonna think? Oh, this week you care on me. Someone's gotta help me dig. Someone's gotta help me dig. Jesus Christ, girl, I've been long, so it seems, since I was sticking out the one or two for you. Uncouth and Unkempt, episode 001, The Mod. Contains 8 NFTs from this week's episode. 80%, 90% common, 10% gold. Someone's gotta help me, Dave. Could do Elon as president of Mars next time. I gotta do that. That's an awesome idea. I am the boy your mother wanted you to meet, but I am broken and torn with halos at my feet. So let the years I go, don't you shine on me. I could have been an angel, but I'm too drunk to sleep. Make a minted on demand pack. Hold her dear, oh, if your eyes water, you got your favorite number to spin. Episode 001 pack. The Mod contains 8 NFTs, 90% common, 10% gold. Screaming bloody all night, women above, but now he crumbles. Oh, you should have seen how the arches tumble. They're golden no more. Now I'm standing in my blood. I'm caught in a whirlwind, I'm going to heaven. I'm staying on trial and I'm painting on canvas an eternal testament to how we are so animalistic. And oh, 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 making packs. I hate making packs. I hate making packs. In the morning light and say goodnight. And then I'll kiss their eyes. Alright, I gotta make 8 more of these. Yay. The moderator pack. Hello. It's not a war crime the first time. Oh yeah, that was a fun one. Oh, I'm always in love. I love this song. I wonder is my heart full of holes. Oh, so my head keeps going. God damn it, I fucking hate this part. That don't matter. Wait, slot 3. Slot 4. Wait, am I going to be missing one? One, two, three. Take my money and gaslight me, motherfucker. I'm always in love. I'll need to buy some RAM, apparently. Hopefully, I have enough wax to finish this pack in this account. Or I have to transfer from elsewhere. I need to edit this, don't I? Oh, fuck me. Did I fuck up here? Slot deleted. Okay, slot 7. This is 9. Oh, fuck. Do I have to redo the slot? Fuck me. Great, I gotta delete this one too, because I didn't do the things properly. Why does this always happen? Oh wow, I didn't do this one properly either. Awesome. Nor this one. Nice. Alright, I gotta do all that over. This is must-see TV, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's dumb things we do when we were young. I don't want to fuck up this time. Oh, we're almost done, folks. Uncouth and Unkempt episode 1, the mod! They're so fucking mature, aren't they? Alright, we're gonna give how many of these should maybe 15 of them here. We're gonna give 3 to first place and 3 to third place and 1 to everybody else. Let's mint 15 of these bastards here. Do I need to buy more RAM? No, I'm good.
Well, she dragged me down, tossed me around, slammed my name all over town.
I need more RAM again. What kind of RAM do I need now? General RAM or?
She makes true love more like misery.
Mint capacity 76, it has 59. I'm good. I need more RAM. Okay. Alright, first and third get 3, and everyone else gets 1. If anyone is not in there, exclamation mark yacht followed by your wax wallet ID. And you can get in there, the win there, the swim there. Alright, last call for grubs. Oh.
It's the time of day, don't go out of your way, just leave me with the stack of the bills to pay. My good girl ain't no good to me, and she don't have the courtesy to shut the door when she been playing. What I want to see is rags piled on the floor. My good girl ain't no good to me, and I only wish she could see that I miss her.
Oh, someone just won. Who's gonna win? Go Peril Derek coming in for the dubs, getting 3 packs. GG's. Oh, cool. Oh, me honey, let me send out these packs now. 'Cause if I don't, I'm a pretty busy guy. and I might forget. I'm not sure. What do you mean? Strung down your cheeks, bitter melodies, turning your orbit around. Don't cry. You can rely on me, honey. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Let me finish this and then I'll do that. Okay. A Wax Pothead's getting 3 packs here. You write about the stars. Each one is a setting sun. Down buildings shake, voices escape, singing sad, sad songs. Two chords are strung down your cheeks, bitter melodies, turning your orbit around. Voices cry. Skyscrapers are scraping together, your voice is smoking. Less cigarettes, all you can get, turning your orbit around. Our love, our love is all we have. Everyone is a sailing song. Tall buildings shake, voices escape, singing sad, sad songs. Two chords strung down your cheeks, bitter melodies, turning your orbit around. And before I look at the Endophobia thing, I'm going to open one of my own packs just for shits and giggles. And let's see what's in it. Glass cigarettes, all you can get, turning your orbit around. Did I get a gold foil? Did I get a gold foil? Did I get a gold foil? Cigarettes, all you can get, turning your orbit around. Why won't my pack open? Oh, let's see. Ooh, 2 gold foils, so slightly above average. Ah, my friend, the mods. Alright, let's check it out, see if I've won anything other than what's on here. So, what? Apparently I won nothing. Alright, War Second Pack, Orchid Hunter stuff, Common Pin, Seabreak Gaming promos, Seabreak Break promos, Wax Wolf, Tie-Dye Wolf, Crypto something, 1 credit Endophobia edition for the PFP Wizard Claw, which doesn't work for me. I think I got them all. Nice, some pretty good prizes in here. Very nice. Alright, let's see who's on, and I'm going to raid into them. Thank y'all for hanging out for episode 1 of Uncouth and Unkempt, the Prime Roadshow, which happens anytime I want without any schedule, and which is, it is what it is. And we're going to write into our friend Frazzle at the online in. You probably are already in it, but if you're not, there may be something wrong with you. Trade at the online. But thank you all so much for joining us tonight here on Prime Yacht Media. Your presence is appreciated. Have a wonderful evening and stuff.